Whatever. Pretty Little Liars season 5 is bizarre, very bizarre. Um, we immediately wrap up the cliffhanger from season 5, which involves a lot of hyper real nonsense where Arya ends up killing Shauna, who is revealed to be A, an A, some A. I don't know, beta A? I have no fucking clue. I don't know. This show's about hyper reality, so nothing really, really, really matters. I still find it pretty damn enjoyable. There are a lot of cool stylistic things this season. I think I, Marlene King, the showrunner, really has found her stride when it comes to the genre bending and the stylistic contextual interplay of the show's themes and vibes. I think three moments stand out to me the most. The first of which is my dream girl, my Pretty Little Liars dream girl, who is, I guess I have two. I have two crushes on Pretty Little Liars. I have Jenna, but we're not going to talk about Jenna right now. Um, but the other one is Melissa, played by Tori DeVito, aka Psycho Carrie from One Tree Hill. I just think she's so fine. She has a really cool episode this season where she's kind of revealing to Spencer her truth, which is not a truth. It's a version of a truth. It's a truth for her. She's revealing her truth where she believes that she is covering up for her sister, kind of thing. But stylistically, it does some really cool things where the setup is that Melissa is kind of filming herself speaking to a camera, and when Spencer's watching the video, she is like kind of stylistically transported to behind the camera, almost as a director, almost as a camera operator, which kind of speaks to the themes of the shows where um, the lives of teenage girls in the 2010s are ones that are on display, are ones that are directed, are ones that are cinematic. And I think that stylistically, I'm Arlene King, the showrunner, and the writer's room, and of course, the actors and the set designers. Everyone was able to really express that beautifully in that episode, which is really cool considering that. The fact that Alison De Laurentiis is alive is something that I feel negatively impacts the philosophy of the show, but that doesn't mean the philosophy is entirely wasted. Another stylistic moment that I really liked was probably the one of the biggest moments of the season, where Mona has her, quote unquote, death scene. And it's set up beautifully. It's set up like as if it's straight out of an Argento film. I think I'm Marlene King through characters like Jenna and certain kind of tropes that she's fixated over. She has been flirting with Giallo, with Dario Argento, for a very long time, with Brian De Palma, with kind of erotic thrillers for a very long time, and with the kind of death, quote unquote, Mona's death scene that comes around the middle of season 5. Oh my God, it pays off. It's so well done because not only do you get shades of deep red, it's mostly deep red. It's mostly Dario Argento's deep red there, and it's done so well. But you also get kind of hints of Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson. There is a bit of Scream there. There is a bit of the slasher quality there, but it's mostly deep red, and I feel like that speaks volumes as well to the show's more artistic ambitions. And the other time where I think it was stylistically quite brilliant is in the final episode with the dollhouse, the reveal of the dollhouse that Abe has been keeping Mona alive as Alison De Laurentiis, pretending to be Alison De Laurentiis in this dollhouse that A, or Charles, as we've come to the very end of the episode or season, kind of decided almost kind of haphazardly that that's his name based on some blocks, that his name is Charles. Charles has been as the dollhouse under surveillance, and he's the operator, the puppeteer. He sets out these loud sirens. He directs the days, gives them activities to do, and all the other liars end up there as well. And it really speaks to the show's the themes that are still intact. Because yes, we lost a great amount of depth, of philosophical depth, when Alison De Laurentiis was revealed as being alive, because I think the cornerstone, the philosophical cornerstone of the show, the foundation of it all, is that our lives are directed by, or that the lives of young people are directed by their dead friends. They live in the movies of their dead friends, and that's immortality, baby. And it kind of played with that theme here when we thought that Mona was dead, but she was actually alive, which kind of brings the notion of like possibly and it's not like a really fun notion. But the fact that Alison De Laurentiis is truly alive, and then she's brought back to be punished, systemically punished, because she's found guilty for the murder of Mona. She was framed for it. She's punished by the law, by the state, by her friends, by her high school, by her family. She's punished by everybody. All the punishment is befitting the crime of being a cute, manipulative girl who's actually alive and not dead, like everyone thought. So that's kind of interesting. I'd prefer it if she was dead, because there's really no difference between her being alive and her being dead because she's a very cool character, but she still operates in the exact same way. She was still very much an ever-present character in the first four seasons where you were led to think that she was dead. But there are still some there's still a substance here. There's still a depth here, philosophical depth here, because the lives of young girls or teenagers are ones that are on display, are the films of their dead friends, but are under surveillance and they're being targeted. So when we see these people in a dollhouse, we've seen A play with dolls and kind of torture dolls and his A endings at the end of certain key episodes. But now we actually have like physical flesh and blood dolls. The Pretty Little Liars have been made into dolls. And it's kind of like a torture dungeon in a very large way. There's a lot of like kinkiness to it. There's a lot of weirdness to it. And I guess the Dollhouse episode is a point of contention for a lot of Pretty Little Liars fans. I'm not really sure why, because the hyper reality already went overboard by season three. Season three is when this show jumped the shark and never looked back. And I think that it should be applauded for that in a lot of different ways. It is a show that is willing to go completely in too deep with its craziness, and there is something to be admired about about Pretty Little Liars and its dedication to the most psychotic thematics possible. And I think that in the Dollhouse, you get the most like hyper literal metaphors you could ever hope to get from a show of this caliber, where their lives are on display, their lives are surveillance, their lives are torture, their lives are methodically planned, dementedly planned out for them, strategized. That they are dolls, they are playthings of patriarchal figures, vanishing men who exist in the shadows of gossip, lies, and secrecy. And that's fun. I like the Dollhouse episode because Mona is an incredible actor, an incredible character played by a remarkable actress. I love Mona to death this season. You really feel her absence. You really feel it. And I was very worried. I'm like, if Mona's gone, then this really, really, really sucks because the show, season five, takes a minute to to really pick up steam, to pick up some speed. And that kind of happens when Mona is her death scene, which I think is beautiful, which I think is so good. And I love the reveal of her still being alive. I love her coming back as like the ghost of Christmas past in the Alison De Laurentiis Christmas episode. It was kind of awesome. I love her makeup there. I think she's hot. I think she's really cool. I think she's a feisty little pint-sized psychotic wrecking ball. I think she's very fun. So MVP is definitely Mona. Jenna, um, one of my definite crushes from this show is hardly in it. She had like a really hot new sidekick. And I guess that after like a winter formal or whatever dance that was, we just give up on that storyline. We're just uninterested in exploring it further, which fucking is just blows, dude. It just that just sucks for me because Jenna, I think, is the only so far Jenna is the only genius absolutely unquestionably genius contribution that Pretty Little Liars has made to the teen drama art form is a character like Jenna, this chameleon of genre, this chameleon of style, this demonic entity within a very tender philosophy. That's Jenna, and I think she's incredible. And I really, really need to see more of her. I need to see more of Noel as well. It kind of emphasized him. There was a great emphasis placed on his character. They insisted upon him at the end of season 4, and then we really don't get we get virtually no time with the man in season 5. He appears, but it's I need to learn more about that guy. He's really cool. Jenna, I just need to spend more time with because the show is at its most inspired when it's capturing Jenna, when it's kind of being ruminative or you can tell the show is excited about itself when Jenna is on screen, and that's always really you get a real electric sort of a charge from Jenna's inclusion, and she wasn't included much at all this season, even though, like I said, she got like a really hot new sidekick, and then boom, gone. Whatever. Jenna, who the second half of this season asks, which is a bit upsetting and a kind of it's a bummer. It's a total bummer not having enough Jenna because I thought we were setting up a lot of cool things to at least explore, and we gave up excavating that character this season. So hopefully season 6 will have more Jenna for me. Toby became a fucking cop. He became a fucking cop. That loser, that absolute loser, Creep, Spencer, please make out with every guy with an accent that you come across. I don't care. Do whatever you can. Get rid of the cop. Oh my god, Toby, what the fuck is wrong with you, homie? Caleb's back from his stint in the spinoff Ravenswood. Um, it's an it's annoyingly talked about quite a bit because I don't care what happened on that show, but I guess it's nice to see Caleb and Hannah together. The major flaw of this teen drama continues to be that they don't have a Pacey and Joey, they don't have a Lucas and Peyton, they don't have a Chuck and Blair. They don't even have like a Rory and a Jess. They don't have a big like romance that is just full of chemistry that is really just undeniable. It's not Arya and Fitz, and it's definitely not Toby and Spencer, or Caleb and Hannah. It never was Emily and Paige. The closest it got was being Emily and Maya. That was the closest thing the show had to undeniable, legendary, iconic romantic chemistry on the show. The biggest flaw, the major flaw of Pretty Little Liars will always be that there is no fantastic couple. There is no legendary or iconic couple. And we're way too far into the show for the show to correct that course. So that'll always be the show's Achilles heel is the romantic components of the show, which aren't very compelling. I think that 5 seasons in, I can say that it, so far as the romantic qualities of the show is concerned, the show fails on a romantic level. It really does. There's nothing truly romantic about the show. It feels contrived, or it feels either convenient or forced. Um, Always problematic, never iconic. I can't really vibe or gel with it too much. So there's that. Season 5 was an entertaining season. It's just the fact that Allison is alive and the fact that Mona was believed to be dead but is actually alive. This betrays the show's philosophy all over again, like twice in one season. Um, I like the concept of, you know, young kids having more and more dead friends, and the lives of these young kids are films of their dead friends, and that's immortality, baby. They constantly feel hounded and targeted and surveilled and feeling like you're living a lie forever, perpetually. A large part of that is killed because Alison De Laurentiis is actually alive because the show went through great pains to demonstrate that. even if Allie is dead, as she was presumed to be in the first four seasons, almost guaranteed to be in the first four seasons. Like it was pretty like it's a very unfair show with its mystery, but that's fine. Cinematic mysteries should be unfair. I don't hold that against it. What I hold against it is went to great pains to show you that even though Allison is dead, she is very much at the center of this entire show. She is still very much the most important character in the entire show. The most significant character is a dead girl. I thought that was really poetic and really fascinating on political, philosophical, social, thematic levels. The fact that she's alive, the fact they did another fake out death with Mona, just brings into a question like what is even the value then? What is that? Like what's valuable about that then? Nothing. Nothing. If everything seems reversible, if nothing seems kind of final. And even when Mona was dead, Mona became the new central character for the episodes of season five, where you assume that she's dead, where you think that she's been murdered. She becomes the most central character. Dead girls have immortality. That's their final gift for a very cruel departure from this world. And having Mona be alive again is doubling down on the idea that their philosophy means nothing and holds little to no weight at all. So that's really just aggravating. Um, because once again, when Mona was dead, she was still there constantly, not just in flashbacks, but her presence. She provided the forward momentum for the second half of this season for the entire narrative until it reached its climax at the dollhouse. Now, I do like the dollhouse conceptually. I am a fan of the dollhouse. Like I said, that there is no more hyperliteral way to express that that the way that young girls feel is that their lives are on some sort of grotesque display, that they are extremely performative, and that they are living within secrecy, hidden from the greater world, but being spied on by a demonic force. I think that's cool. I think the dollhouse is very cool. Um, I like that a lot. That's very nice, and I'm excited for season six. It does pain me to know that absolutely the best that Pretty Little Liars has to offer almost certainly is behind us. And I never went through a single season saying it was masterful. That's kind of a letdown because I feel like the show had it in it. But the ambitions of the show seem to be a bit more superficial, which once again is fine. But superficial hyper reality can really destroy a tender and truthful philosophy. And I think Pretty Little Liars is the best example of that. I think Pretty Little Liars season five is a fun season. I think it's an entertaining season. I think it has a lot of cool things about it. And, but ultimately, I think it's a remarkably, I don't want to say vacuous. I think that that's far too harsh. It's a remarkably shallow chapter in Pretty Little Liars lore. It's remarkably shallow, but uh, but it's definitely enjoyable nonetheless. I'm hoping season six will give me more Jenna. I'm hoping season six will, I don't know, maybe be a little bit more intimate. You know, put more of an emphasis on the emotional and on the intimate than on the cinematic and suspenseful. You know, I want something intimate from the show because that is obviously the major flaw of Pretty Little Liars is that it is so invested in its own style that intimacy is always the first casualty of hyperreality of style. So I'm wanting to I want this show to make me cry, honestly, and I'm still hopeful about that. I think Ila Marlene King is talented, extremely talented, and she can definitely make me cry. So do it already. We got two more seasons left. I want to cry. I want to feel intimate. Um, I want to feel like the show is kind of, I want to feel like the show is personal. I want to take the show personally. But thank you for watching my video.